from Wrigley Field on a mild and overcast Tuesday evening. We're set for Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. It's the middle game of a three-game series between the Houston Astros and the Chicago Cubs, with Houston taking Game 1 last night. Hi again, everyone. Along with Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. More on this matchup in a second, but the big news today, Lou Piniella announcing his retirement effective at the end of the season. And I guess in the end, Bob, not a huge shock. He'll be 67 at year's end. You know, Len, there's a term they use in the game of baseball, in all sports for that matter. He's earned the right, and certainly Lou Piniella has earned the right to walk out that door however he sees fit. Let's hear from the manager, Lou Piniella.
No, what it has to do with more than anything else is my age factor and the fact that I want to go home. And I've been away from home since 1962. It's about 50 years. And been a long road. And God has blessed me with good health and the ability to do this job, and I'm appreciative. But, you know, sooner or later, you go on to a new phase, and that's exactly what's happening to me.
Three-time manager of the year, including with the Cubs in 2008. And, Bob, he also added 68 games to go this season, and he'd like to finish with a flourish. Well, you know he'd like to finish with a flourish. I mean, this guy's going to go down as one of the greatest managers to ever suit up in the dugout. So I think we're all fortunate here in Chicago for our time that we got to spend with Lou. And Lou's not going away. He'll be around somewhere as a consultant for somebody. Okay, coming up, Ryan Dempster for the Cubs and left-hander Wesley Wright for the Astros, who won Game 1 11-5. The Cubs bats have been pretty hot here lately. Let's hope that continues tonight. Cubs baseball next.
Your Chicago area Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Member-owned means our reason for being is your well-being. Experience wellness everywhere. AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Southwest Airlines. Visit southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
You're watching the Cubs and the Houston Astros on Comcast Sportsnet, presented by Allstate. Well, in addition to the Lou retirement announcement at the end of the season, Cubs chairman Tom Ricketts also ended any speculation regarding general manager Jim Hendry's job security.
Yeah, Jim is our general manager, full stop. He's looking. He will be leading the effort to find our new manager for next year, and will be our general manager going into next year, yes.
So a very newsy day here at the ballpark. And, oh, by the way, we have baseball. Let's get into the Astros Southwest starting lineup. They had their best offensive game of the season last night. 11 runs, 17 hits, both 2010 highs. Bourne, Sanchez, and Berkman at the top. Pence, Lee, Keppinger in the middle. Chris Johnson and Jason Castro had huge nights. They both homered last night. And Wesley Wright, the pitcher, will hit 9th.
Take a look at the Cubs defensively tonight. We've got Alfonso Soriano in left, Marlon Byrd in center, Tyler Colvin over in right field, Ramirez and Castro on the left side of the infield, Terrio and Lee on the right side, Giovanni Soto once again doing the catching for right-hander Ryan Dempster, coming off back-to-back victories. The first one against the Arizona Diamondbacks, last time out against the Philadelphia Phillies. Went 6 2/3, gave up a couple of runs on 6 hits. And Dempster has been really good with his slider lately. We've talked a lot about Dempster, the sinker, the slider, the split-fingered fastball, and on a given night, one of those pitches may be working better than the others. Recently, he's had a really consistent, good slider.
Speedy Michael Bourne will lead it off. Reached 3 times last night, including a leadoff single, as the Astros scored 5 first-inning runs against Carlos Silva. 1 strike, we're underway. Cornermen in, guarding against a potential bunt. And that's fouled back. Check in on the umpires. Brian Gorman, the crew chief, will call the balls and strikes in his 19th year at this level. And has worked a couple of World Series, including last year's. Two to Bourne is up and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You saw that elevated 4-seam fastball there as we take a look at tonight's weather here at Wrigley Field. Partly cloudy, 80 degrees, wind out of the southwest at 7, which translates into a hitter's wind blowing out toward left center field. That elevated fastball for Dempster. I've talked about his slider and how good it's been lately. He's also shown the ability to go to that 4-seam fastball up in the strike zone. And to a guy like Michael Bourne, the more often you can get him to hit the ball in the air, the better your chances of getting him out.
These two have matched up quite a bit over the years. The guy who's really gotten Dempster is Jeff Keppinger, who's 11 out of 24. And his 2-2 also hit foul. See Ryan already working up a pretty good lather out there. 80 degrees cooler than it has been. But a lot of humidity, overcast conditions. Hopefully we'll stay dry. Castro going out. Soriano coming in. It's Starlin Castro to make the running grab. Had to get him into the defensive action right off the bat. He had a rough night last night.
You know, Len, I talk a lot about the rhythm of the game, and sometimes it's very apparent that a player is just a tick behind the rhythm of the game, and I think that was the case with Starlin Castro last night. But good to get him involved early in this game. Nice running catch out into shallow left field.
Now Angel Sanchez, with his 3rd major league team, been a Royal, a Red Sox, and now an Astro, acquired from Boston a few weeks ago. He had 3 hits last night, scored once. 0-2. Sounds like a broken record, but the Cubs need to improve a lot against the NL Central. Just missed 1-2. They're 15-26 against their own division, which includes a loss last night to start this series.
A good location for that 0-2 slider. May have been just a hair off the outside corner, but that's exactly where you want to throw that 0-2 pitch. Try to get Sanchez to chase a pitch that leaks out of the zone.
Castro again, ranging to his left. So 2 down, nobody on, and it's first baseman Lance Berkman. The other issue the Cubs have had, and this is about the pitching staff, they've given up a lot of first-inning runs. It'd be nice to see Dempster get through this top of the first without any damage. They've now allowed 68 runs in the first inning, 2nd most in the National League. And if you look at most teams' records, when they score first, it's usually really, really good, and when they don't, it's really, really bad. Swing by Berkman. 0-2. When the Cubs score first, they're 31-15. That's 16 games over 500. You can do the math, as they are 10 under overall. So
don't ask me to do math, please.
I would do it quickly here, but they're not that good. 16 carry the. They're 26 under when they don't score first. So hopefully they'll get a run here in the bottom of the first. Put away your calculator.
Put my shoes back.
We have to figure out why Sloan didn't come to the park tonight. Southwest starting lineup for the Cubs: Colvin and Castro at the top once again. Good homestand for Derek Lee. Ramirez, Bird, Soriano in the middle, and Soto, Terrio back in there. Dempster at the bottom.
Take a look at the Astros defensively tonight. Carlos Lee in left, Michael Bourne in center, Hunter Pence over in right field. Got Chris Johnson at third base, Angel Sanchez at shortstop, Jeff Keppinger at second. Big Puma Lance Berkman over at first base. Rookie Jason Castro will be doing the catching once again tonight for left-hander Wesley Wright.
This is his first major league start. We've seen him quite a bit against the Cubs as a reliever. He was starting at AAA. Felipe Paulino was originally scheduled to come off the disabled list and pitch tonight, but he had a setback. And that's a strike. 1-1 on Tyler Colvin. But Paulino has a shoulder injury, and sounds like he's going to be out another month, longer than expected. Also, Brian Moeller recently went to the disabled list, so it's Wesley Wright.
13 previous appearances against the Cubs, obviously all as a relief pitcher. And unless he's changed his MO, he'll feature a fastball that will approach 90, occasionally up into the low 90s, a hard slider, a very occasional curveball, and an even more rare straight changeup. Basically a power pitcher with the fastball and the hard slider.
25 years old, swing and a miss. 3-2. 5'11", 175. Left-hander Wandy Rodriguez won last night. Out into center. Bourne on the move, makes a waist-high grab. So one out, and it'll bring up Starlin Castro.
Nice running catch by Michael Bourne out there in center field. He is blessed with tremendous speed. From our Coors Light RoboCam behind home plate, you see Bourne got a great jump on that ball. I was hoping that would drop. Tyler Colby got jammed just a little bit on that ball, and those are the ones that will occasionally fool a center fielder, but Bourne got the great jump and made the catch.
Snapped a 6-game hitting streak last night. We mentioned the 2 errors on defense, but still a solid homestand, and his batting average right now at .288. The 0-1 on the way, and that'll be a base hit in front of Carlos Lee. So Castro with the first hit of the night.
First hit of the night for the Cubs comes on the first changeup of the night for Wesley Wright. Occasionally you can get a pitcher off of a certain pitch. If he throws it a couple times early in the game and it gets whacked like that one did, he'll stick it in his back pocket and forget about it for the rest of the ball game. Lynn, you were talking about scoring first in the ball game and how important that is. And every time that topic comes up, I think back to the Jim Leyland Pirates teams of the early 90s. And Jay Bell was the number 2 hitter on that team. In 1990, he had 39 sacrifice hits. The next year, he had another 30. If the leadoff hitter got on for the Pirates in the first inning of the ball game, Jim Leyland had Jay Bell put down a sac bunt. That's how important it is to score that first run of the game.
One strike on Derek Lee. One ball, one strike.
Of course, it didn't hurt anything to have Barry Bonds hitting 3 and Bobby Bonilla hitting 4.
I'm just going to say, not the same Pirates, but they're leading 10-6 over Milwaukee in the 3rd inning. Pedro Alvarez with 2 homers, including a grand slam in that one. They got 9 in the first. The payback on Milwaukee, a team that has put up some big numbers against the Pirates. I was just thinking about Lou's announcement today. He will retire effective at season's end. And about a 20-year-old Starlin Castro hopefully will have a 15 to 20-year major league career. And I'm sure there are some things he has learned this year, not only from Lou, but from guys like Alan Trammell and Ivan De Jesus, that he will carry on for the rest of his baseball career. And that's the other part of this with Lou announcing his retirement. You have an entire coaching staff that will be here through the rest of the year, but beyond that, nobody is quite sure at this point. And I've said this a few times, Bob, and you've been around a lot more coaching staffs than I, but this has been the best one I've been around. They work extremely hard, every one of them, and they're great to us.
Oh, they've been outstanding. You know, they've granted me access to the advance reports, and they've always been very open and willing to answer any questions we might have about what's going on with certain players at any given time.
3-2 on Derek. This is Lou talking about his time here. Loves the city, the fans, and ready to enter a new phase in his life. And he certainly did raise the bar here as Castro runs on the 3-2. It's hit foul. First Cubs manager in over 70 years to have 3 straight winning seasons. In his first 3 seasons leading the team. And that 2008 team, I'm sure, will be debated for the rest of Cubs history. And I'm not so sure there were many, if any, flaws with that team. You lose 3 games in October, and it negates a 97-win regular season. But I thought that team was good enough to win it all.
I would agree.
It just didn't.
That old saying, it's not always the best team that wins. It's the team that's playing the best at that particular time.
Swing and a miss. Castro on the move. He will get in with a stolen base, but 2 outs in the inning. That's his 3rd. I mentioned it last night. Jason Castro has been good in the stolen base department, or at least in the caught stealing area. And even though he didn't get Castro, he's still at 50%.
Yeah. He's got a very strong throwing arm. His footwork maybe needs a little tightening up, but you've got a cannon like Castro has behind the plate. You can get away with some mistakes back there mechanically.
Ramos fouls off. 1 strike on the Cubs' third baseman. And the other question is, with 68 to go, including tonight, how does the announcement affect the team's play? We haven't seen the Braves since the first series of the season, but you consider they have the second best record in the entire National League, and I'm sure a lot of the Braves would tell you that they feel a little extra motivation, considering Bobby Cox is going to hang it up at the end of the season. I guess all I can ask you is, if you were a player, how would it affect you?
Well, I had a couple of managerial changes in mid-season during the course of my career, and to be honest with you, it's a very subjective thing. Some guys have a great relationship with a certain manager, and when he happens to be fired or resign or retire, whatever the case may be, you definitely miss them. Other times, not so much, and I think that's the case with this Cubs team. There are some veteran players on this team that have been through managerial changes before. They understand it's part of the game, and they'll move on and continue to do what they do in their careers. Other guys have been given an opportunity to either become everyday players or earn a roster spot here in Chicago because of Lou Piniella and his staff, and they will forever be grateful to Lou, and probably are a little hesitant to see him go.
1-2 to Ramirez, a swing and a miss. And Derek Lee said Lou's desire to win, something that certainly has stood out here over these 4 years. No score after 1. Sportsnet honors the Hawk, Andre Dawson's Hall of Fame induction. Go back in time to the Hawks' 3-homer game against the 1987 Phillies with an Andre Dawson Classic Friday night at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. So the home run came against the 87 Phillies, and I believe that was during the 87 season.
Yeah, right around there.
Trust us, that flag says Hawk. Victor Pence foul tips. Strike 1. Wind is blowing out, as Bob mentioned. During batting practice, it was very calm here in the ballpark. And up in the air, but not going to fly. Bird will haul it in.
Hey fans, don't miss the action as the Cubs battle the Astros tomorrow right here at Wrigley Field. Game time is 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs keychain, compliments of Chevy.
Carlos Lee knocked in 2 with a double in the first in game 1. Would end the night 2 for 5. ...20 career homers in 60 games at Wrigley Field. Been a busy week for Ryan Dempster. I know he's focused on getting the win tonight. So hopefully he'll check that off his list, and then tomorrow get set for the inaugural Dempster Foundation Casino Night and Concert coming up at the House of Blues. And we're looking forward to that tomorrow evening. A couple of Astros on that list. Here's the 2-1 from Demp. And it missed 3-1. They will raise a lot of money tomorrow night as the Dempster Family Foundation dedicated to raising awareness of the 22q deletion. Fair ball past Ramirez into the left field corner. And Soriano will pick it up on the warning track as Lee has a 1-out double.
It's been a very subpar offensive season for El Caballo. The power numbers have been respectable, though. That ball hit right on the chalk down into the left field corner for a double. Still getting his extra base hits, driving in some runs, but the average way down from what we're used to seeing Carlos Lee hit.
Here's Jeff Keppinger. Brad Mills has tweaked his lineup. Strange to see Jeff Keppinger hitting in an RBI spot behind Carlos Lee, who's not hitting in the 3 or 4 spot. It certainly worked last night. I mentioned those high numbers, a big batting average for Keppinger against Ryan Dempster. We're used to seeing Keppinger in that 2-hole.
He appears to be an ideal number 2 hitter. He handles the bat well. He can hit to the right side if the leadoff man happens to get on base. As you mentioned last night, he rarely strikes out. Puts the ball in play just about every at bat and has a good eye. He will take his walks.
The other thing for Brad Mills, he wanted to separate Berkman and Lee, and Hunter Pence has been in a pretty hot stretch. So he has inserted Pence in that 4 spot. He's batting cleanup for the 2nd straight night. The only 2 nights all year he has hit 4th. Outside corner, 2-1. Dempster getting behind the hitters. He was 0-2 on everybody in the first inning. Chris Johnson on deck. Last night hit his first career home run. 3-2.
Mentioned Keppinger's ability to hit the ball to the right side of the field, which he might do on this 3-2 count. Perhaps intentionally, perhaps just trying to stay alive in the at-bat. But with El Caballo, Carlos Lee running at second, no guarantee that he'll be able to advance from second to third on a hard hit ball to the right side.
Ball 4, fastball missed. Keppinger has already walked 4 times in this series, and after all 3 walks last night, he would come around to score. So 2 on for Chris Johnson. Three hits, a homer, a triple, and 3 knocked in. in Game 1. First career home run. Hitting .373 on the road. And that average will go up. And Lee is going to be sent by Dave Clark, and he will get in. And the Astros grab the early lead once again. Chris Johnson with his 4th RBI of the series.
That's too bad. Len, a hard hit ball toward the hole between third and short. Starlin Castro gives it a great effort trying to knock the ball down and keep it on the infield. Unfortunately, he deflected it just enough that Soriano had to change direction. The ball slowed down, and that allowed Carlos Lee to score from second base. If that ball gets through cleanly, it's a much tougher decision whether or not to send Carlos Lee.
Still first and second, and it's Jason Castro. And a one hopper to Terrio, and he throws it away. And Keppinger will score. And it's 2-0. Should have been a 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. And now they have 2 in. Still only 1 out, and runners at second and third.
Just a tailor-made double play ball. That ball was hit really hard. The mistake was Terrio fading away as he made his throw. He had plenty of time to set his feet, make an accurate throw to the shortstop Starlin Castro, but he continued to fade away toward the right field foul line and threw that ball out into left field.
And now the infield will come in against the pitcher Wright. Left-handed pitcher, right-handed batter, and he chops it to Ramirez. The runners have to hold, and the throw goes to first. 2 down. To the top now, Michael Bourne. Fastball missing. 1-0 on Bourne. First time All-Star this season. As it stands right now, an unearned run here in this inning. It has been a big problem for the Cubs this season. Coming into tonight, they had allowed 59 unearned runs, by far the most in the majors, the second most allowed by Houston with 49. As I look here, Bob, at the top 9 teams in unearned runs allowed, I think all 9 are under 500.
Not surprising.
Not a big secret. First winning team on that list would be St. Louis, the 10th most unearned runs. But the Orioles are on that list. Washington, Milwaukee, the Pirates, the Diamondbacks, the Mariners, the Cubs, the Astros.
And that's just physical errors. If they had a category for mental errors, the Cubs would be leading the universe.
Every last place team in baseball is in the top 10 in unearned runs, and the Cubs lead them all. Ball 4, the bases are loaded. And we want to send out get well wishes to our fine director Dave Turner. A little under the weather tonight, so he is resting comfortably at home. So Mark Brady producing tonight, and Bob Albrecht directing. With Tamara Anderson, our associate producer, and our wonderful Comcast Sportsnet crew. Larry Rothschild out to the mound as the bases are loaded, 2 runs in. And Angel Sanchez at the plate. The other thing about the error, not only did it lead to a run, but think about all the pitches that Dempster has to make now that he would not have had to make otherwise.
And it gives the Astros offense more of a look at Ryan Dempster. They get to see more pitches. Now, errors are never a good thing. They don't lead to anything good.
Two hits, 2 walks, and an error here in the second.
I ask you, Lynn, the official scores, as we've heard for years, you can't assume a double play. Do you think that's right?
No. I mean, I understand the idea of it, but there are some that are as routine as it gets.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you get the flip to the shortstop and he overthrows first and nobody advances. There's no error. When a good throw would have beaten the runner by 5 steps. Yeah, that. Not so sure I like that.
Just another tweak we need to make to this great game.
Well, I know you've been keeping notes, and you're going to try to become the next commissioner after, what is it, 2012? And he hit him, and Sanchez will get a painful RBI. It's 3-0.
They're trying to come inside on Sanchez, probably to set up the next pitch, and it just clips him on the back of the left arm.
It's been a rough series. And we're in the early stages of game 2. Inside on Berkman. Boy, this inning could really balloon. Lance Berkman, very dangerous hitter, even though he's at 249 for the average. And has really been the opposite of Carlos Lee against the Cubs. Berkman has often struggled against the Cubs. But he's ahead in the count now, 2-0. And remember, Larry Rothschild already headed out to the mound. Lance Berkman, a career 249 hitter against the Cubs. He does have 29 homers and 542 at bats. Three and 0.
As good as Ryan Dempster was in that first inning, hitting his spots with all of his pitches, he's been that inconsistent in this inning, especially as it has continued after the air. That was supposed to be an off-the-body sinker to the inside corner, and he missed badly low and away.
Strike to make it 3-1. Berkman probably won't help him here, even on a 3-1. He has one of the better eyes in the game. Should I say sets of eyes? You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think.
As good peepers.
You're looking at me funny. That is ball 4. So Berkman gets an RBI on a bases loaded walk. And for the second straight night, the Astros have batted around in an inning. 11 came up in the first last night. And Pence, the 10th batter of the second inning tonight. Well, you'd never know it, but statistically, this has been one of the least dangerous offenses in all of baseball for the better part of 3.5 months. Popped up by Pence. On the infield is Derek Lee to finally end the inning. A 32-pitch second for Ryan Dempster. It's 4-0 Houston.
Leads us to our Cabot Woodstain's legendary performance on this date in 2003. The Astros beat the Reds 6-3. Jeff Bagwell with a pair of home runs to give him 400 for his career, the 35th player in history to reach that mark.
Saw Jeff Bagwell out early as some of the Astros were taking extra batting practice. You know, I don't know the answer to this. I don't know how much extra BP Jeff Bagwell had to take during his career. A lot of times when you come out at 2 o'clock, most of the guys taking extra BP are the extra players. We just need a little extra work. But the hitting coach is always there for extra BP.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you're a bench player or a semi-regular player and you don't get the consistent at-bats that an everyday guy gets, you look forward to that early batting practice like your game. To get an opportunity to get out there and get some consistent swings and work on some things mechanically. Have the undivided attention of your hitting coach around the cage. I know I used to look forward to that.
A great note, Frank Thomas and Jeff Bagwell, whose careers kind of paralleled one another. They were born on the exact same day, I believe in 1968. Two and one on Marlon Byrd, putting together a career year here in his first year as a Cub. Ooh, that got a big piece of Brian Gorman.
Watch out. Oh. It looks a lot worse than it really is. Brian Gorman underneath as he takes a deep breath. I'm saying it's not that bad, Brian, but he's got that chest protector on underneath the navy blue shirt that the umpires wear back there. Still doesn't feel good, but doesn't hurt quite as much as you might think.
Jason Castro saying, Brian, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Better you than me.
2-2 from right. And now full count, 3-2.
Must be good. He's going to take a little bit of it home with him.
Got a big piece of Marlon Byrd. This has been a painful at bat. They're not too concerned. You better get in there fast.
Watch your fingers. Oh, man. He lost 3/4 of his chip there. It's not right.
The 3-2 on the way. Ground ball wide of third. Is a focused individual.
Yes, indeed.
And he walked him. Good at bat for Marlon. A leadoff walk. Now Alfonso Soriano. 3 of the 4 Astros runs in the top of this inning were unearned. Cue shot to Berkman. Sanchez back to Berkman. 3-6-3. We see Soriano do that occasionally. He's got that big pull uppercut swing, and the ball squibs right to the first baseman.
Now catches it right off the very end of the bat. Probably a lot of side spin on that ball as it made its way down to Lance Berkman.
That's my golf swing right there.
And that's where it helps to have a left-handed throwing first baseman. They can complete that 3-6-3 double play with a lot more ease than a right-handed thrower who would have to turn his body all the way around to make that initial play at second base.
To Giovanni Soto, and he popped it up. Keppinger underneath. And pushing it out towards center field. No problem. Inning over. Leadoff walk. No runs. 4-zip Houston after 2. Seven to join Blackhawks Mobile and be entered to win a pair of weekend passes and a 2-night stay at this year's Blackhawks convention at the Hilton Chicago, July 30th through August 1st. That's passes to 242-957 for an all-access pass to see the 2010 Stanley Cup champs. Up and in on Carlos Lee, who doubled and scored in the second, as Houston would get 4 in that inning. Drive out into right center. Bird chasing after it, and he'll get there. He gets great jumps.
Watch the Cubs take on the Cardinals this Friday at Wrigley Field. Game time is 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 adults 21 and older will receive a Cubs white T-shirt, compliments of Bud Light.
Keppinger without an official plate appearance, and again, this is instructive. You know, Ryan Dempster knows it, but Keppinger has walked 4 times in the series. Every time he has come around to score. And he just keeps wearing out Ryan Dempster.
Well, Ryan Dempster, like a lot of pitchers in the major leagues, are kind of dependent on the hitter being very aggressive. And Jeff Keppinger's just not that kind of a hitter. He's very controlled, takes a short swing, uses his hands, lets the ball get deep into the hitting zone before he commits. And those are the kind of hitters that are going to give any pitcher trouble.
Well, Keppinger's story is actually a pretty feel-good story. Kind of a journeyman utility guy. And he's just been too good this year to really sit. The 1-0 to Chris Johnson. That's upstairs, 2 balls, no strikes. Kick and the 2-0 called strike. 2-1.
Well, and talking about hitters like Jeff Keppinger, I think back to the days managing against the Cubs. And if I had my choice of having Mark Grace at the plate with runners in scoring position or Sammy Sosa, I would much rather have faced Sammy Sosa because he was such a free swinger. He wanted to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Mark Grace, you knew, was going to make you throw strikes, and if you did throw strikes, he was going to take that controlled swing and put the ball in play somewhere.
I think most good offenses have a combination of those 2 types of hitters you talk about. You need the big hackers who are going to hit 30 to 40 home runs. In Sammy's case, over 60.
Yeah.
And you like having guys like Mark Grace in any lineup.
You know, I really like having him lead off the bottom of the 9th in Game 7.
Yes. Line right at Ramirez, who makes the grab. 2 down. And it'll bring up Jason Castro for the 2nd time. If you just joined us and you missed the news, Lou Piniella today announced he will retire at the end of the season as a big league manager. Said when he got here this will be his last job, and he has stayed true to his word. He has left the door open to be a consultant. And it sounds like the Cubs would love to keep him in the organization in some capacity, but I think he'll worry about that after the season. And we will certainly miss him. He has been such a pleasure to be around. And I think the announcement today actually is a good example of the type of person Lou is. And he alluded to it during his news conference. He said, I don't want to lie to you people, talking about the media. Anyone who knows Lou really well, if you ask him a question and he pauses for 5 seconds before answering it, it's because he's not going to lie to the media, but he's trying to find the best way to say it without saying it. And I give him a lot of credit, because in just about every sport there's certain times when you, if not lie, you can't tell the whole truth.
Right.
And it's really hard for Lou to do.
Well, and another way to look at it, Lou's been around the game for a long time. He's seen it from a lot of different angles, and he understands the job that lays ahead for Jim Hendry, and wanted to give the organization and Jim every opportunity to begin the search, to start to narrow down the field. And by announcing the retirement at the end of the season, it gives the Cubs organization a little bit of a head start on that process. And Lou certainly understands that as well as anybody. So in that respect, a very unselfish move on his part.
He also added he does not want to have any input on who the next manager is going to be. That'll be up to Jim and the Cubs organization. And there will be much speculation about that over the weeks and months ahead. And we'll let the talk shows and the newspapers and the blogs talk and write about it, as Colvin in right makes a catch for the final out. They get a 1-out hit, no runs. Bottom 3, 4-zip Houston.
Comcast Sportsnet when Marlon Byrd and the Cubs battle Albert Pujols and the Cards. Coverage begins at 11:30 with Chevy Cubs pregame live. Don't miss Cubs Cards Saturday at 11:30 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Boy, are they heating up. They lead the Phillies 2-0 in the third tonight as they seek their 7th consecutive win. They're a half game up on the Reds. Chris Carpenter tonight, so he'll go Sunday night against Ryan Dempster. Close out this homestand. Jamie Moyer got pulled after 1 inning, a scoreless inning. He gave up 2 hits, so leads you to believe there was an injury. We'll have to check on that. One strike on Ryan Theriot. And a base hit. Cubs Charities and Ryan teaming up tonight to raise $22,000 for Gulf Coast Relief. More than 900 baseballs signed by Cubs players and coaches, sold out before the game began.
Very nice.
Ryan Dempster with 10 sack bunts on the year. We'll try to lay down another one. A special thanks again to Ryan and Derek Lee and everyone who participated, making it such a great event tonight. Thanks to Vijay Tekandani, the unsung hero of the entire Cubs organization, who led the effort as the Cubs raised money for Gulf Coast relief, and they sorely need it. Wanted foul. Ryan not happy with himself. 1-1.
Trying to get that ball down to the first base side where Lance Berkman is holding on Ryan Theriot at first base. Chris Johnson, the third baseman, can come in as far as he wants from his position, so the idea is to bunt that ball to the first base side, giving Theriot enough time to advance on to second. Also, with a left-handed pitcher on the mound, it's a much tougher play for him to pick up a bunt to the right side of the field, spin around, and make that throw to first base.
A 1-1, and he gets it down right. We'll get it to Keppinger covering first. This August, 40 diehard Cub fans will get the ultimate game day and on-field experience with the Chicago Cubs Fantasy Camp. On August 8th, participants will enjoy a Cubs game in VIP style. On the 9th, they will fulfill the lifelong fantasy of playing baseball at Wrigley Field, with instruction from Ernie Banks, Billy Williams, Rick Sutcliffe, and others. Space is limited, so call 773-404-4748 or email WrigleyExperience@Cubs.com today.
It's like old number 09 there with a hit and run. You can see the runner in the motion in the background of that shot.
One strike on Colvin. Starter for the Astros. His full name is Dequam LaWesley Wright. Call him Wesley. First major league win came here at Wrigley Field in relief. Wright, as a reliever, has been a good strikeout pitcher in his career. 111 strikeouts and 110 career innings coming in. But he has also walked 62, which is a pretty high total.
A hit per inning, a strikeout per inning, the 62 walks, as you mentioned, a little bit higher than you would like.
April 4th of 08, recorded one out, got his first win and just his second career appearance. He grew up watching and rooting on the Cubs in Alabama. Born in Montgomery. Rule 5 pick from the Dodgers in December of 07. Dodgers made him a 7th round pick in 03. Colvin swings and misses for strike 3.
Colvin is swinging the bat pretty good against left-handed pitching. Was at 296 coming into play tonight, but that time got tied up by a breaking ball that just didn't break very much. The ball started off the inside corner, moved toward the corner, but he got tied up. You could clearly see he tried to pull his hands in closer to his body to make contact, but couldn't quite catch up to it.
I really like that Lou has just left him in there against lefties here lately. I know Xavier Nady has struggled, but Early in the year, it's been kind of a platoon out there, and right, it was Fukudome and Nady, and now Colvin's basically become the everyday guy. Cubs fail to score after getting the leadoff man on. It's 4-0 Houston after 3.
I'll open 1 a.m. or later.
Len and Bob on our Comcast Sportsnet crew from Wrigley Field. Wesley Wright leading off the 4th with a 4-0 Houston lead. Wright's first major league hit came here at Wrigley Field, July 28th of last year. So this has been a special place for him, and he's making his starting debut in the majors here tonight. Smothered by Soto. Oh, he's at the ready with 2 strikes in case that batter swings at it.
Let me bring up a good point, Len. Most catchers, first strike, second strike, maybe they don't get down into that good blocking position on a pitch in the dirt, but with 2 strikes on the hitter, there's always a chance he's going to chase that bad pitch. Better not let it get by.
Charged by Aramis, pops a mitt and fires a strike to Lee. Time now for our AT&T trivia question. Sweet Lou is one of 5 managers to win 3 or more Manager of the Year awards. Can you name the other 4? I think we could come up with a pretty good list. Lou won it in 95 and in 01 with Seattle, and then 2008 with the Cubs. Bobby Cox has got to be one of those guys.
I think Dusty probably would be another good guess.
Tony La Russa would make sense. How many is that? We've got them all but one.
Mike Scioscia? No.
Jim Leland. Joe Torre might be another interesting choice. We'll find out soon enough. Fly ball to right. Colvin is there for the second out. Bourne retired. Now Sanchez, who in the second inning was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded, picked up an RBI. There's another quirky thing about baseball. Was it a run batted in? Did Lance Berkman bat a run in? No, he walked. It's the same concept.
Yeah, we don't need any more categories. Stat sheet is as thick as a phone book now.
Well, one of the new stats that I really like, and if you ask me to define it, I can't, or to calculate it. It's runs created for pitchers, runs saved. And what you're trying to do, Bob, is you're trying to take everything into consideration, put it into a big pot of stew, so to speak, and say, how many runs is this guy worth? Because it is confusing, I think it's taken a while to catch on, but I like it. And this is trouble. 4 Cubs within about 10 feet of that ball, and that'll be a bloop double for Angel Sanchez. Well, he might want to buy a lottery ticket tonight. You cannot get any more fortunate on a blooper than that. 4 defenders were in the area.
And that ball was in the air for a long time. It had to be hit in just the absolute perfect location in order to get it on the grass out there in shallow center. A little bit of a mental mistake here by Starlin Castro. You got to let that ball go to Marlon Byrd, who's got the play right in front of him. He's on his feet. Castro had to kind of dive for that ball and then throw from his rear end. No chance to get Sanchez at second base. A good chance for Marlon Byrd if he comes up with the baseball of throwing out the Astro runner at second. That falls under the category of trying to do a little bit too much.
If you just looked at the sky, you'd think, wow, it might rain at any moment, but it's looked like that for a couple of hours, and there's a slight chance of rain tonight, but so far so good.
Is that proverbial window up there in that one cloud?
Might be it right there. Two and 1 to Berkman. Long look by Dempster. Lots of signs there from Soto. That runner at second. And the pitch. 3-1. An off year for Lance Berkman, but as we've seen in this series, good hitters usually find ways to work deep and favorable counts. That's when they usually do their most damage. He walked him.
Well, I would venture a guess that over the course of his career, Lance Berkman has been in as many or more 2-0 and 3-1 counts than any hitter in the National League.
Pence is 0 for 2. Healthy cut. Let's look to see if Pence is choking up on the bat. He will choke up, as he is at the moment.
Boy, for me, Hunter Pence is one of those hitters, Lynn. If I were ever to pitch against Hunter Pence, I would make him stand in that batter's box for a long time. After he takes his warm-up swings, he is really wound tight in that batter's box. And the longer you can make a hitter stand there and those muscles in the forearm to tighten up a little bit, get those wrists to tighten up a little bit, I think that enhances your chances of getting him out. He is wound tight in that box.
Very few guys wear just the one batting glove these days. Used to see it a lot. Today, either wear two or none. Hit hard. Castro can't get it. Here comes Sanchez. It's 5-0. So Pence not shortening up. With 2 strikes, he hit it very hard past a diving Castro, and Larry coming out.
Well, most guys that choke up on the bat, like Hunter Pence does, don't have the kind of plate coverage that he does. But he's a long, lanky hitter with long arms, and even though he does choke up a couple inches on that bat, he's still able to reach out there off the outside corner and make solid contact with that pitch and drive home a run.
We saw happening after 2 were out. Sanchez with the bloop double, Berkman walked, and then Pence with the RBI single. Now El Caballo. Up the middle and a base hit. Berkman's going to score. And Pence all the way around to third.
Just a jam shot that found a hole up the middle of the field. Dempster reaches out the bare hand to try to slow it down. No chance for Castro to get there with the pull hitting Carlos Lee at the plate. He was shaded over toward the hole between third and short. It's a little ground ball that made its way back up the middle of the field.
Right-hander Jeff Stevens getting loose in the Cubs pen, just called back up from AAA Iowa. And with the Cubs needing 8 innings out of their bullpen last night, Cubs had to make a move. And right-hander Mitch Atkins, who gave Lou 4 innings last night, heading back to Iowa. So Stevens in his 3rd stint with a big league team. One and 2 to Jeff Keppinger. To follow up Carlos Silva, who only went 1 last night. Physically is fine. So I guess next time out you just hope he's a lot better than he was last night and his final start of the first half. Has not even been able to combine for 3 innings over his last 2 starts. And we have word from St. Louis. Jamie Moyer with a left elbow strain. That's why he got knocked out after an inning. Phillies trail 3-0 in the 5th. We're talking before the game. Charlie Manuel should be riding high. First National League manager since you to not lose, and first to win since 1996, the All-Star game. I don't think Charlie's too happy right now.
No.
Phillies are really scuffling. Ramirez will toss to Terrio covering second. They add 2 to their lead. It's 6-0 Houston in the 4th. Lou Piniella, one of 5 managers to win 3 or more Manager of the Year awards. The other 4 are as follows. Dusty with 3 of them in San Francisco. Bobby Cox, Tony La Russa with a record 4. Jim Leyland with 3. Joe Torre won 2 with the Yankees. So Lou's going to retire. Bobby Cox as well. Cito Gaston in Toronto. There's speculation about Joe Torre in Los Angeles. An interesting year for veteran managers. Outside to Derek Lee. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just to follow up on Derek's thoughts on Lou, talking about his desire to win. When Lou got here, his reputation certainly preceded him. Everybody remembers all the videos of him throwing bases, kicking dirt around Riverfront Stadium with the Reds. And he does have that edge from time to time, but Bob, I'll tell you, for the most part, very relaxed. Talk baseball 24 hours a day. The only time you want to give him some space is after a loss. He hates to lose, and he does not hide that fact at all.
I was just thinking about that today when the announcement was made. Lou with over 1,800 victories in his career, and I'm sure he enjoyed every one of those very much, but he also had 1,600 losses or more. And, boy, you just don't want to be around Lou on those 1,600 days.
I've talked to many coaches, and you and I talk all the time. And I don't know if a coach / manager can ever enjoy the wins as much as the losses hurt. I think it's probably impossible based on the nature of the job.
Truer words never spoken.
Pretty well struck, but right at Michael Bourne for the out. Great to see our Menards grounds crew. Our winner tonight, Michael Wickham from Naperville, helping out and enjoying himself thoroughly. Who would not want to drag the infield dirt here at Wrigley between innings? I've heard stories, and I haven't really specifically asked Lou about it. I'm sure there'll be a lot of reminiscing in his office over the final 2.5 months. I can't remember who told me the story, but just about Lou fretting over his lineup in 2001 in Seattle in like August or early September with a team that was like 50 games, 5-0, over 500.
That's so many good players, he couldn't figure out how to get them all in the lineup. I mean, yeah, in an odd kind of way, that I used to really enjoy putting a lineup together on a given night, depending on who the opposing pitcher was, who was pitching for you. Do we have a ground ball pitcher on the mound? Do we need our best infield defense on the field tonight? Does it figure to be a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game? What are the conditions on the field?
Ramirez deep to left. Carlos Lee will watch it go. About 5 rows up. It's 6-1. Number 13 for Ramos.
When Ramos Ramirez gets that kind of extension, he doesn't have to get all of it. We've seen him hit a similar pitch all the way out of Wrigley Field, especially with the wind blowing out as it is here tonight. He got a little out in front of that ball, hit it toward the end of the bat, but had full extension. Great backspin on that drive into the bleachers in left. Happy birthday wishes here to Madeline and Michelle Haslip, celebrating here tonight. Also a happy 53rd to Rick Oldham from Lamont. He's here at the ballpark tonight with his family.
The 1-0 to Bird. Breaking ball strike. Cubs have donated the center field Batter's Eye Suite to Girls in the Game, a local and national group that provides and promotes sports and fitness opportunities, nutrition and health education, and leadership development to enhance the health and well-being of all girls. Great to have them out here at the ballpark tonight. Also want to send out condolences to the Wellens family after the passing of Adrian Wellens.
I need you to make a call on this one for me, partner.
Okay.
We got a note here from a gentleman named Billy Prince, and he puts down the section, the row, and the seat number. He's here with his girlfriend.
Nice play by Sanchez on a short hop, and he'll get Marlon Byrd 2 down.
Well, he wants to propose to his girlfriend, but it seems to me like if they're both here at the ballpark tonight, she's not going to hear it.
That's a good point. Well, if they have Comcast on demand, I suppose she could watch later.
Well, just so I'm not liable in any way, shape, or form for this, Billy Prince wants to ask Christy Mandarino, will you marry me?
And you can watch Comcast Sportsnet Cubs game replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Still time, and the wind is blowing out. We're only in the 4th. Cubs fought their way back last night before the Astros pulled away late. I want to thank Greg and everyone from Legend Picks in Davenport, Iowa. Greg sent us about 50 or 60 Cubs guitar picks, and they will be used very well.
Yes, indeed.
They will definitely come in handy. Soriano chases the breaking ball, and that ends the inning. 1-out homer by Ramirez gets the Cubs on the board. It's 6-1 Houston.
713-695. If you're the 500th texter, you could win $5 footlong subs from Subway.
Bottom three in the Houston order. A lot of clouds, but we can see the moon tonight. You had a chance to go there, would you take it? We'd have you back by tomorrow.
Do they have any ball fields or fishing lakes up there?
I think they have lakes, but I don't know if there's any water in them. I'd say no.
Probably no fish either. I think I'll just stay.
Okay. 35,000 feet is as high as you want to go, huh?
That's plenty high.
1-1 to Johnson. See, going there I think would be okay. It's coming back into the Earth's atmosphere that I struggle with a little bit. Foul. Ramirez throws anyway.
A lot of bad hops on that infield. I've joked before, you know what those craters are up there, don't you?
What's that?
Yeah. That's where some Derek Lee home run balls have landed.
Yes. This is the anniversary of the moon landing in 1969, July 20th. There you go. Hit well to straightaway center. Bird on the track and no room into the juniper bushes. Right in front of that batter's eye, Chris Johnson with his second major league homer and second in as many days. Well, that had a loud sound off his bat.
Boy, it sure did. It's funny, as a hitter, when you make solid contact on the barrel of the bat, as Johnson just did, you don't feel a thing. The noise is loud, but there is absolutely no vibration in the bat whatsoever. And with the conditions here tonight, anything hit well in the air has a chance to go no matter what part of the ballpark it's hit to.
They continue to get contributions from the bottom of their order. They got 6 RBIs from Johnson and Castro combined last night. Johnson's knocked in 2 more tonight. 7 and 8 hitters have combined for 3 of their 7 runs. One and two.
Another hello, Len, to Don Lindholm and his daughters Jennifer and Kelly, watching in Monticello, Illinois, or rather Indiana, excuse me. Is it cello or cello?
I think you could go either way on that.
It's definitely.
I don't know. I'm going to just tell you, I have no idea. Whatever you say.
Well, whatever. There's some people watching somewhere tonight. Big Cub fans.
In some state.
Yeah, somewhere.
2-2. It's raining in Cincinnati as the Reds lead the Nationals 5-1. They are in the bottom of the 5th, so if they don't start up again, the Reds would win it. Milwaukee gave up the 9 spot in the bottom of the 1st at Pittsburgh. It's now 10-9 Pirates in the 6th. What a comeback that would be. I don't know the psychology of this, Bob, but Brad Lincoln gets 9 first inning runs. All right. He got pulled in the 3rd inning. Gave up 7. James Russell up in the Cubs bullpen. So it makes you wonder, did he pitch differently after the 1st, knowing that he had a 9-run lead?
Different pitching coaches and pitchers have different theories about what to do when you have a big lead. I was talking to Larry Rothschild about this just the other day, and he's a firm believer that you stick with your game plan regardless of the score. how far ahead or how far behind you are in a game. You continue to stick with your game plan, try to execute. A lot of times with a big lead or trailing by a lot of runs, the theory is just throw it over the plate and let your defense work behind you. But that's usually when, or that can be when teams creep back into a ball game.
Long night for Ryan Dempster tonight. Cubs do need innings because of the way it went for Carlos Silva last night. Do have an off day Thursday before the Cardinals come in Friday. One and one to right. Swing and a miss. Well, tonight is about Lou, as we have been discussing all night. He will retire at year's end. Bobby Cox has gotten a ton of publicity, making the announcement before the season started that this would be his final year. I don't know if Cito Gaston's gotten enough attention, and I think where he manages is a part of it. But back-to-back world championships with the Blue Jays, his first time around in the early 90s. As he will finish up his career here in 2010. Colvin racing over, and he'll cut it off, make the catch, 2 down. And he played for Cito.
Yeah, I had the great fortune of playing for Cito Gaston back in 1989 in Toronto, and could not have enjoyed my time any more. As a matter of fact, I was Cito Gaston's first release as a manager. And he took it a lot harder than I did. I mean, when you're batting 189 and playing sporadically, you kind of see the handwriting on the wall. And when Cito called me into his office at the old King Dome in Seattle, he was a lot more broken up over it than I was. And I just really enjoyed playing for Cito. He was obviously very much a hitter's manager. You know, some guys lean more toward the pitching side of the game, some guys more toward the offensive side. And Cito was an offensive genius as far as I was concerned. We had a number of players on that Toronto Blue Jays team in '89 that would look over to the bench before every pitch, and Cito would tell them what he thought was going to be thrown. Wow. And more often than not, he was right on the money.
Castro can't get it. Michael Bourne with his first hit tonight.
Yeah, that was a very exciting time in the city of Toronto. They moved from old Exhibition Stadium over to Sky Dome, and at the time it was absolutely a state-of-the-art stadium. We sold it out every night in the second half of the season, and that was quite an exciting time to be playing baseball in Toronto, I'm told. It was fun to sit on the bench and watch guys play baseball in Toronto.
Low and away on Sanchez.
I mean, that ballpark had every bell and whistle you can possibly imagine, with the exception of somewhere to sit in the bullpen. Our bullpen was behind the left field fence at that time at Sky Dome, and they had an old scaffolding set up with folding chairs on top of it so we could see over the top of the fence to watch the action.
You always forget about something in a new ballpark.
Always something.
And it's usually the bullpen.
Yeah.
Stevens up again with Russell.
They were really nice folding chairs.
They're big league folding chairs. Well, the wind is really whipping the flags on the center field scoreboard. It is howling straight out. I think it's blowing harder than it's blowing the entire homestand at the moment. Runner goes. Here's a throw by Soto. Late. Bourne leading the league. That is his 29th.
Got a pretty good jump over there at first base. And those guys that steal bases for a living, like Michael Bourne, they accelerate into their slide. Guys who aren't as good at stealing bases, many times you'll see them slow down a little bit to go into their slide at second base. But Michael Bourne accelerating all the way into his slide, a hard slide into second base. Ricky Henderson was that way with the head first slide into second. He would be running so hard and just start leaning his body forward while his legs were still driving as his body was hitting the ground.
Looped out into right, and Theriot with a bobble and the catch. In and out of his glove, and then in again for the third out. Leadoff homer by Johnson. It's 7-1 Astros. Night. It's already 7-1. As the Cubs bat in the bottom of the fifth. Bottom three, Soto, Theriot, Dempster due up, but I'm going to see a pinch hitter for the starting pitcher. And going back to our earlier conversation, Wesley Wright with a 6-run lead. Conventional wisdom would say throw it right down the middle, but not tonight, not with the wind. He doesn't want to give up 5 or 6 solo home runs. He's going to stick to his game plan, which has served him well through 4. He'd give up the Ramirez homer, but with nobody on. So he wants to throw strikes, but they need to be quality strikes.
And so far tonight, he's been able to do that for the most part. Even the home run by Aramis Ramirez was not a bad pitch. A little bit off the outside corner. Ramirez just went out and got it. But Wright has worked both corners of the plate, up and down, thrown just enough breaking balls to keep the Cubs hitters honest.
Off the glove of Johnson. It's a fair ball, and Soto is going to try for 2. Nope, he's going to stop, and a smart choice. Johnson would have nailed him in second.
He had thoughts about going for second base, but Johnson got to that ball pretty quickly as it rolled over toward the Cubs bullpen. And Soto did the right thing. He took a very aggressive turn around first base as you see Johnson touch that ball in fair territory and knock it into foul territory. Right there he had thoughts about going, but he realizes that's a long throw from that Cubs bullpen all the way across the diamond to first base, so he was able to take that aggressive turn and then retreat to first base.
Want to know on Ryan Theriot. Xavier Nady's going to hit for Dempster after Theriot, who looks at a strike.
And for our All-State good hands play, Ryan Theriot going out into shallow right field to snag this pop-up off the bat of Angel Sanchez. It surely would have been a run for the Astros. Played it off his chest, able to hang on with that little second baseman's glove for the third out of the inning.
Chopper to second. They'll try to turn two. They can't get any. Keppinger throws it away. So Ryan Theriot standing next to Keppinger probably won't, but could say, well, I guess it's not just me. How about that? Each second baseman with a relatively routine throw, and both guys throwing it away for an error.
Yeah, on this one, Keppinger does get his feet into good position to throw back to second base. He just pulled that throw away from his shortstop. The Cubs will definitely take it. A little bit of a rally going here. Nobody out. Runners at second and third.
And Nady brought on as a pinch hitter for Ryan Dempster. We're going to see Jeff Stevens pitch the sixth. In there for a strike. Xavier pinch hit last night in the fifth and grounded into a double play. Tough night for Ryan. Charged with 7 runs, 4 were earned, 3 unearned in 5 long innings. Gets away. And the throw to the plate will not be made as Soto scores. Theriot to third. Nady struck out. It's 7-2.
What in the world happened to Jason Castro's mitt? Looked like he got crossed up, and the pitch actually knocked the glove right off his hand. Yeah, he was definitely crossed up. He was leaning to his left inside to Xavier Nady. The pitch went the other direction. So they knocked the glove right off his hand.
He's charged with a passed ball.
Not sure why Nady didn't run to first base. Strike 3 got away from the catcher. It wasn't a foul ball, a foul tip.
And first base was not occupied.
Yeah.
So runner at third, and Colvin just got hit on a breaking ball that didn't break.
Yeah, that ball came out of his hand really bad. Catches Tyler Colvin right on the one of the number 21 there. He'll head on down to first base. The rally continues.
Right, kind of limping to the 5th inning finish line in terms of qualifying for the win tonight.
His last 2 starts at AAA Round Rock, he pitched 6 innings and 6 2/3. So maybe getting to that area of the pitch count where he hasn't been in quite a while. 94 last time out in 6 2/3. And 87 in the start before that over 6 innings.
He's in the mid-70s currently. They will try to turn to first and third, 1 out. And the pitch to Castro. Blocked by Jason Castro. Other action, Detroit staring at what will be their 7th straight loss. They're down 8-0 in the bottom of the 9th at home against Texas. Kinsler, Hamilton, and Murphy with homers for the Rangers tonight. Tommy Hunter, 7 scoreless. Angels chasing the Rangers 5 back in the West. They lead at the Yankees 8-2 in the top of the 8th. Hideki Matsui has homered against his former team. Kick the 1-1. The Castros had a busy inning. And Starlin went around 1-2. That's a big swing pitch.
I think you got it right. Brian Gorman watching that pitch as it went in the dirt, and apparently the bat of Starlin Castro crossed his line of vision and got it right.
His prior career high was as a reliever, making his first start tonight. Not hit hard. Keppinger will only have 1 play as Starlin Castro gets an RBI on the ground out. Terrio in at 7-3.
After a little jam shot, sounded like he may have broken his bat. Inside out swing. As you said, just not hit hard enough for the Astros to even think about turning a double play. And Tyler Colvin moves into scoring position with 2 outs here for Derek Lee.
Going inside to Lee. Bird just cannot wait to get into the on-deck circle.
You know, Len, back in the days when bench jockeying and heckling from the dugouts was a fairly commonplace occurrence. If you had the opposing pitcher on the rope, somebody would always yell out, "There's a fight at the bat rack." Everybody wants to get up there and hit against you. And Marlon Byrd is a throwback to those days, always standing up there on that top step. He can't wait to get into that on-deck circle and get his rips. Like a conga line of hitters there.
Here comes a 2-0. Low on a curve, 3-0. Still no action in the Houston pen. The Cubs will go into their bullpen in the 6th.
This is a very tenuous proposition for a manager. You know Brad Mills would like to get Wesley Wright through the 5th inning and give him an opportunity to possibly pick up a victory here tonight. But with the conditions here at Wrigley Field, the middle of the Cubs lineup, a couple of long balls, and this is a completely different ball game. And now you're not so much worried about Wesley Wright getting a victory, but you're worried about your own team getting a win.
Ball 4. It's only the 2nd walk issued by Wright. And Brad Arnsberg, the Astros pitching coach, will make a trip to the mound.
Well, Wesley Wright's stuff not nearly as crisp this inning. His location not nearly as good as it was through the first 4 innings of the game. And the Astros just trying to nurse him through this 5th inning and get that final out.
Brad Arnsberg, a part of history. He saved Nolan Ryan's 300th win with the Texas Rangers in 1990.
Ramirez back in the 4th inning. A Wesley Wright fastball high in the air to left field. Got it about halfway up into the bleachers out there. Ooh, nice to see another one of those.
Should also note Brad Arnsberg made his major league debut for the 1986 Yankees under manager Lou Piniella. Oh, there's a good Lou connection. Oh, 1 to Ramirez, big swing. 0-2.
May have bitten him a little bit on that left thumb. We haven't seen Ramirez react like that for the better part of a week. I mean, it usually happens on a swing and a miss. We talked about that violent swing to generate as much bat speed and power as he possibly can, and when he misses contact, that's when that left thumb seems to grab him a little bit.
Inside on the fastball. Third time through the order for Wright. Rally cap time here in the 5th inning. Count holding at 2 apiece. Cubs have scored twice in this inning. And a lot of help from Jeff Keppinger, who made a throwing error. Potential double play ball. Right-hander Wilton Lopez. We saw him last night. He's up in the Astros pen. Fly ball, sending Michael Bourne back on the warning track. Gone! 7-6. That's a 3-run shot. Two homers tonight for Aramis. We've got ourselves a ball game, partner.
Yes, we do. Big breaking ball. Ramirez all over it, protecting that plate with 2 strikes. Got the off-speed pitch, saw it well. Michael Bourne thought he had a player right up until the moment that ball landed in the basket in left center field. A fist pump from Aramis Ramirez. The Cubs right back in this one.
2 homers in the last 2 innings for Ramirez. 7-6. Bases cleared, 2 down. Tying run at the plate. Cubs were down 6-0 and 7-1.
I think Brad Mills is having second thoughts over in that first base dugout right about now.
Yeah. second 2-homer game for Aramis in 2 weeks. And Marlon Byrd into left center. That might be it for Wright. Brad Mills has no choice. And as you said, Brad Mills has forgotten about Wesley Wright's bid to win the game. He's trying to get his team a win. Starting to slip away here in the 5th inning. The Lexus pursuing perfection call to the pen. It'll be right-hander Wilton Lopez coming on. 7-6 now, Houston. .com and click on the CBOE front row seats auction to bid on tickets in the front row behind home plate and along the first base line. Front row seats will be auctioned off to every game all season long. Don't miss your chance. Go to Cubs.com and check out the CBOE front row seats auction today. Right-hander Wilton Lopez, a day after his 27th birthday, will face Alfonso Soriano with Marlon Byrd at first. 5 in. The Cubs trailing now by just a run.
"38th game of the season for Lopez, a perfect 3-0 record, has 6 holds on the season. He's a strike thrower for the most part. 24 punch outs in 36 in the 3rd innings, only 4 walks.
A little extra motivation, I suppose, in that the starter can't get the win, so Lopez could possibly get the victory depending on how it goes from here on out. 2-0 the count.
It seems so unusual in this game, Len. A couple of errors by the respective second basemen have opened the door to big innings for the other team. Back in the 2nd inning, when Terrio was unable to get the ball to Castro in good shape to turn that double play, the Astros pushed across 4 runs. And in this inning, with Jeff Keppinger's error at second base, the Cubs have scored 5 and counting.
And a balk has been called, and that'll get the tying run into scoring position. Plate umpire Brian Gorman made the call.
Just the slightest movement with that right arm and right shoulder as it looked like he was ready to start to go into his set position and then stop. Ryan Gorman, the home plate umpire, eyeballing the pitcher. That's the home plate umpire's job, is to watch that pitcher in his set position, make sure he's not doing anything illegal or out of the ordinary. And that time Gorman caught Lopez with a little bit of a flinch with that right side.
2-2. Games have gone final now. Texas did shut out Detroit 8-0. Colorado blasted the Marlins 10-0 in Florida. Jeff Francis got the win. Atlanta beat San Diego 4-1. 3-2 on Soriano. With that win, Atlanta jumping ahead of the Padres for the best record in the National League at 55-38. Two pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. But a big inning for the Cubs. They get 5 and have drawn within 1. 7-6. Five unearned runs in the 5th. Cubs gave up 3 earlier in the game. 2 huge errors in this ballgame, one by each second baseman. And now with the game in a much different area, just a 1-run deficit, Andrew Kashner will get the ball in the 6th.
That changes everything. Jeff Stevens was warmed up and ready to go and come into this ball game when it was a little more lopsided affair. But now that it's a 1-run game, Lou's going to his, what do we say, late inning relievers here in the 6th.
And as we talked about last night, and it didn't happen, is Lee with a nice knockdown, and Kashner covering first as Berkman angrily flipped the bat halfway down the line. 1 out. Got to hold him here now that you've come back.
Momentum is such a big part of this ball game, and there's no doubt that the Cubs have the momentum right now with that big offensive inning, taking advantage of the Jeff Keppinger error, and then a big play here by Derek Lee to make sure the Astros don't get anything started, getting the leadoff man on base.
Fastball at 96 in there against Hunter Pence. Why am I more worried about the bottom of the order than the top and the middle? Diving catch, Starlin Castro. Two excellent defensive plays in this inning.
It looked like a base hit ticketed toward left center field, but Castro ranges a few steps to his left and with a dive able to make the catch on that line drive off the bat of Hunter Pence. A couple of sparkling defensive plays here to start the inning.
Much easier play on one hop this time as he gets Carlos Lee. Very quick sixth for Cashner. Post-game live. Submit your questions on csnchicago.com. You could get an answer live on air. Don't miss Sylvania Cubs post-game live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Special thanks to Todd Hollingsworth for filling in over the weekend. And he's back in a suit in the studio. Well, a new ball game. Cubs trail by only a run here in the sixth inning. Wilton Lopez struck out Alfonso Soriano. We get the final out of the fifth. And he'll face Soto, Terrio, and a pinch hitter. Or he won't face anybody. Brad Mills is going to make a change. Alexis pursuing perfection, call to the pen. I think it's Chris Sampson. We'll let you know when we come back.
But be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs car flag, compliments of Jewel.
Sinker baller Chris Sampson. I thought something was odd. Wilton Lopez was really taking his time loosening up for this inning. And now we know why. He was buying time for the veteran Sampson as he faces Giovanni Soto to start the 6th. Ball 1.
And you may ask yourself, why wasn't Sampson ready to come into the ball game? Well, that top half of the 6th inning for the Astros was really quick for Andrew Kashner, and Sampson just did not have enough time to get ready.
Looks like Sampson's having trouble seeing the signs from the catcher really leaning in. 2 balls, no strikes. His last outing was Sunday at Pittsburgh. In his first 19 career appearances, covering 27 innings against the Pittsburgh Pirates, he had allowed no earned runs. He gave up 2 on Sunday. So his career ERA against the Pirates is 0.64. Two and 2. Still delayed in Cincinnati in the bottom of the 5th. 5-1 Reds over the Nationals. Foul. Good pick by Corey Miller, protecting his bullpen mate Edgar Tovar. High fly ball deep to center. Michael Boyd back. Tie game on top of the batter's eye. 7-7. Number 12 for Gio. They have come all the way back, trailing 6-0 and 7-1. It's now a tie ball game.
Well, we talked about the noise of the ball coming off of Chris Johnson's bat for the Astros back in the 5th. The same sound this time for Giovanni Soto. Going to straightaway center field. Way back there.
Two bouncer Sanchez throws out Terrio.
Hitters love this sound. Pitchers hate it. Oh. That's where the big guys hit.
Gio's put together a very nice comeback season. Last year was an extremely difficult one for him. He had a lot to prove coming into 2010. Also like the way he has rebounded from that tough day on Saturday when he dropped the throw from Tyler Colvin on what would have been the final out of the game. Came back, had a big night Sunday night. Reached base 3 times last night. 2 hits, a home run tonight. Kashner batting for himself. He'll stay in and pitch the 7th, and he strikes out. Tim Burdack, a left-hander, is ready as Brad Mills is out to the mound. And we will see Burdack, the Lexus pursuing perfection, call to the pen, a 7-7 tie. Steaks voted best steakhouse in Chicago by the Chicago Tribune Dining Poll, City Search, and Metro Mix. Harry Carey's Italian Steakhouse in Chicago, Lombard or Rosemont. Call 773 Holy Cow or visit harrycareys.com. Tim Burdack to face Tyler Colvin. Giovanni Soto tying it up with a leadoff homer. Nobody on. Burdack from the stretch. Swing and a miss. Scoreless inning last night, the 8th.
Came into the ball game last night to face Tyler Colvin. He got him to hit a hard ground ball to Lance Berkman at first base for an out.
Anel Sanchez out into shallow left to make the grab, but they tie it up on the Soto blast. 3 homers in the last 3 innings as the Cubs have tied it at 7-7. underway in the 7th. 7-7 tie. Andrew Kashner with a very quick 1-2-3 6th. Got some defensive help as he needed just 5 pitches, and Jeff Keppinger pops it up. Derek Lee the grab, 1 away. Former Cub pitcher Scott Sanderson will conduct the stretch tonight. The big night for Chris Johnson. Homer, 2 RBIs. Swing and a miss. 0-2. See Sean Marshall at some point. Brandon Lyon up in the visitors' bullpen. And he went. Could not hold up on the slider. There's still time to get great seats, including bleachers, for Cubs games this summer. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit the Wrigley Field box office. Still blowing straight out to center field as catcher Jason Castro takes ball 1 low. Shank foul, 1-1. Another thing that needs to be said about Lou Piniella, and it was addressed today during the couple of news conferences, is that he has played and has focused on young players. When they've come up from the minors, they've played a prominent role. He has not been afraid to use a guy like Andrew Kashner in a big spot. Tyler Colvin has become an everyday player. Starlin Castro has been an everyday player since his major league debut at age 20.
Well, really, when you think about it, Len, when you reach down to your minor leagues, usually you're calling up your hottest player or your hottest pitcher. So it makes sense if you're going to bring them up here to the major league level, get them in there right away. That's when they're at their best. They've been doing well at the AAA level. Get them up here, throw them right into the fire, see what they can do. And also, I think it helps those young players feel like they're part of the team right away.
Short throw by Terrio. Andrew Kashner, an excellent job tonight. Scott Sanderson with a stretch.
Sanderson.
Astros making a couple of changes here in the bottom of the 7th. Pedro Feliz will play 3rd, and he will lead off the 8th by batting in the 9th spot. And right-hander Brandon Lyon will take over on the mound. Former Cub pitcher Scott Sanderson. We wish it were a pitcher's duel, I guess, with you in here tonight. Not the case, as the wind is blowing straight out.
Well, you know what? It is a pitcher's duel. It's just a matter of who's gonna last the longest. I think when I pitched in games like this and the wind was blowing out, you just had to tell yourself, look, there's going to be some runs scored tonight that wouldn't normally be scored. You just hope that it affects mentally, that it affects the visiting pitcher more than it will the home team pitcher.
You just want to win, right?
That's it.
Don't worry about your ERA tonight. Actually, the ERAs haven't been hurt that much. 2 big errors, leading to 8 combined unearned runs.
Yeah, I know when you're on the mound on a night like tonight and someone hits a home run in the basket, you're going, oh, come on, what's this all about?
Those are blasts now. If they get up into the basket, it's a home run.
You know what? Once they go down on the scoreboard, it might as well be on the other side of Waveland.
That's the difference between a pitcher's perspective and a hitter's perspective. That was way out of here. It was way in the back part of the basket.
2-0 on Starlin Castro. The Cubs have not yet led tonight, but they have drawn even on the Soto home run in the 6th. And Castro powders one out into deep left center. Just missed right at the base of that basket. And it's a leadoff double. Boy, a line shot that almost was high enough to get out.
That was a laser right there. That was a good swing that he put on that one.
When you see this a lot of times, Scotty, a guy gets knocked down with the first pitch of the sequence. Lyon pushed Castro off the plate, and it just seemed to motivate Starlin a little bit more to dig in there and hit that ball hard off the wall in left center field.
Yeah, sometimes you hate to wake someone up like that, but you know it's always good if you're going to knock someone off the plate. You probably want to try to follow it up with a good pitch after that.
Yeah.
Now Derek Lee. Keppinger sneaking in behind Castro and out into the gap. Cubs will get the lead. Starlin Castro will score. Derek's going to have to hurry. And he is safe. He got in. Apparently Keppinger missed him on the tag. And Brad Mills is going to argue. Call made by Dan Bellino at second base. It's 8-7 Cubs.
A hanging slider. Thigh high out over the middle of the plate to Derek Lee. He's been splitting those gaps in left center and right center with regularity lately. Pretty nice play by Carlos Lee to spin around and get that ball back into the infield. And once again, Dan Bellino got that call right. Keppinger reaching for the sliding Derek Lee instead of just dropping the glove down in front of the base and letting Derek Lee come to him.
Replay shows that was the right call. You don't expect that call to be made, but that was the right call.
Well, usually if the ball beats you, you're out. So the Cubs were down 6 runs 2 different times, and they now have the lead here in the 7th.
You know, they've got a lot of talent on this Cubs team. You're just wondering when it all falls together and falls in place. And tonight's the kind of night where you're watching them going, yeah, this is kind of what you expect to see from the hitters here, and they're doing a great job tonight.
They've been much more consistent lately, and I think it all starts with the guy at the plate and the guy at second base. Ramirez has been scorching hot. Derek Lee also in a good stretch. I know when you pitched, Scott, and you looked at the scouting report, you probably started with the 3 and 4 hitters. Those are generally the best hitters on the team, right?
Well, you always were aware of who you needed to focus on, and guys that you could afford to be aggressive with. Other guys you wanted to, you just didn't want to let beat you. And when you got the big boppers in the middle lineup that are swinging the way they can, any team can be a tough team.
You look at the Astros struggles this year, Berkman and Lee, the 2 guys who kind of make them go, and they're in good stretches. This offense is really good, and when they've struggled, it hasn't been.
Yeah, it's been tough for them. I know that. And the Cubs went through it earlier in the year. These two teams aren't really that different as far as why they've struggled at this point in the season. They kind of are a mirror image of each other at certain points.
Nobody out, back-to-back doubles to start this inning. Somebody stole Bob's cap.
I've got another one.
Foul tip, strike 3. Scott, I want to ask you about something we were talking about earlier. It was Brad Lincoln with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Got 9 runs in support in the first inning, and he could not get out of the third. And it's the idea of pitching to the score. When you got a big lead early in a start, did it affect how you pitched?
Well, the one thing that I tried to be very conscientious of is once your team scores, you want to come out and put a 0 on the board. And it's one of the things that Dave Duncan taught me so well when I had a chance to play for him in Oakland was just put a 0 up there. Just keep, every game is a 1-inning game, and walk off the field that inning with a 0.
That shutdown inning we talk about all the time.
There's nothing more discouraging to your offense that they go out and put 2 or 3 runs up. They're doing their job. You come back the next inning and give up 1 or 2, and they're like, gosh, do we have to keep on fighting and fighting and fighting? They like a break occasionally too. So offense and defense, they actually can work hand in hand, and pitchers can complement. And some of the greatest pitchers in the game, when you'd watch them, they did not allow runs after their team scored.
Outside corner 0-2. Your former teammate at a couple different stops. The Hawk, Andre Dawson, goes into the Hall of Fame this weekend. And I know you're thrilled, as everyone who ever met Andre Dawson's very happy about it.
Well, I tell you, I had the great fortune to play with Andre for about 9.5 years during my career. And so that was just half of my career was spent having him as a teammate. Now, there's not a finer man that put on the uniform than Andre.
And that's hit foul. I'm sure he made a few run-saving catches for you. A few nice throws to nail guys at the plate.
Oh, you know what? He might have lengthened my career by 5 or 6 years. If it weren't for some of the things that he did, I might have been sitting home watching a lot earlier than I was. I remember a great story about Andre, though, when he went over to the Boston Red Sox, and I was with the California Angels. I was pitching against him. And something happened where I had to protect my teammates, and Andre was the next hitter up. And it was a situation where I had to send a message, and I had to knock someone down. And you don't wait. You would like to be able to wait and pick and choose who you could do it to. Usually a middle infielder would be nice. But Andre, being my friend and being as big and strong as he is, well, he was the next guy up, and I had to send the message. He knew it. I knew it. And I threw one, and I threw it right where I needed to throw it. And it was not a comfortable feeling, I'll tell you.
Sure wasn't comfortable for him either.
Well, you know what? He didn't stare out at me. He looked into his own dugout, and he pointed at the person in his dugout who was responsible for creating that situation. And I just looked at him, and I was like, okay, thank you, Andre. I appreciate that.
Well, sometimes that is the most appropriate response. It doesn't always happen that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? I didn't ever mind protecting my teammates, but with Andre up there, and I knew it wasn't his fault, that was not one of the most comfortable pitches I threw.
High ball to right. Pence is going to get there as Lee tags, and he'll be at third with 2 outs. I'll tell you, Marlon Byrd got hit by Vicente Padilla in Los Angeles the last game of the first half, and some think it went back to what happened in Texas last year. Well, Andrew Kashner later in the game plunked, I think it was Blake DeWitt, earned a lot of points in that clubhouse.
Yeah, well, sometimes usually when a pitcher throws at a hitter and knocks him off the plate, a lot of people think it's because of what happened that day. A lot of times, look, you play against each other all the time, season after season. There was one time where I hit a guy 7 years after an incident because it was the next time I saw him. He went over to the other league. We came back, and it was the next time I saw him. I hadn't forgotten.
You're a nice guy, Scott. I didn't know you held a grudge like that.
Well, actually, I'm sorry to admit, that was a grudge.
That's all right. 7 years. That's impressive. You have a good memory.
Oh, I have a bad memory.
Swing and a miss.
I think one of the best things a pitcher can do on the mound, though, is show his teammates that he's willing to protect them, even and not worry so much about your ERA or putting the guy on base. But you need to send a message. We're out here as a team. We're 25 guys. We're going to fight together. We live together. We play together. We're going to live or die together, and I'm going to protect you.
Well, if you'd have waited any longer than 7 years, you'd have had to go to his house and throw a baseball through his window.
Well, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, Brent, because there's one guy that's still on my list that I wasn't able to even score, and I'm just waiting to be invited to an old timers game that he might play in, and then maybe we can get even.
That's great. The statute of limitations does not run out on a baseball field.
No, it does not.
Has there ever been a bench-clearing brawl in an old-timers game?
We're going to find out.
It took a long time for the guys to get out of the dugout and onto the field.
Well, the good thing about doing it in an old-timers game is everyone's memory is so bad that no one would know what was going on, so that's great.
Two and two the count. The Cubs have the lead. Derek Lee's RBI double here in the 7th. And they get an insurance run. Big play by Bourne to keep that ball from rolling all the way to the wall. There's going to be a hit either way. It's now 9-7.
We'll see on this replay here. That could have just as easily been an inside the park home run right there as a single.
That's actually a great play by Michael Bourne. He got out there in no man's land. He left his feet. He had to find a way to keep that ball from rolling all the way to the warning track. And very fortunately for him, he was able to get a glove on it and knock it down.
I have to believe that Carlos Lee was the happiest guy out there that ball hit his glove, because he would have had to sprint to dead center field to pick up that ball. I don't think he wanted to do that.
I think he probably would have just pointed at it and said, "There it is, Michael, go get it."
Soto hits it well, but Bourne will make the catch. Scott Sanderson, always a pleasure to see you. Nice going. You got a couple of runs here for us.
No, thanks. You guys keep up a great job.
Thanks, Scott.
Scotty, good to see you.
Thanks, man.
Watch the Cubs battle the Cardinals at 7:05. The first 20,000 fans get a Cubs t-shirt courtesy of StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of Cubs.com. Always great to chat with Scott Sanderson, big part of that 84 NL Eastern Division team, and also 1989. He was an all-star in 1991. Pedro Feliz bounces the first pitch to Aramis Ramirez, who throws him out. Sean Marshall off to a good start here in the 8th.
Well, it's been an outstanding year for Sean Marshall. You know, we talked about Sean in past years. The numbers would say that he's much better pitching out of the bullpen than out of the starting rotation, and he has taken it to a whole new level this year.
Andrew Kashner, pitcher of record, has a chance to get his first major league win tonight. If that happens, he absolutely earned it. 6 up, 6 down. Bourne chased, and Soto will throw him out.
Michael Bourne, like a lot of left-handed hitters in the National League this year, really struggling against that Sean Marshall breaking ball. He can throw you the big looping curve ball that has a lot more downward break, or the harder, flatter slider that sweeps from one side of the plate to the other.
Angel Sanchez takes a strike. I'll tell you, if the Cubs win this one, the happiest guy in the clubhouse is going to be Ryan Dempster, even though he had a very rough night. I have to say, one of the worst starts he's had this season, even though he was victimized by that error. Gave up 7 runs, 4 earned. He's all about wins. And even though it would be and will be a no decision for him, the Cubs come all the way back and win this one. He's going to be ear to ear in that clubhouse. A 7-pitch 8th for Marshall. Field, Cubs trailing by 6, but they have scored 9 runs over the last 4 innings.
Well, I think it just illustrates what the Cubs are capable of doing offensively. Not that they have not been trying, but tonight some hits fell in. They took advantage of a big error by Jeff Keppinger at second base, and some of the big bats have awakened.
And they'll try to tack on here in the bottom of the 8th. Terrio, pinch hitter Kosuke Fukudome, and Tyler Colvin against righty Gary Majeski, who finished up last night's Astros win with a scoreless ninth in his Houston debut. Ball got out of the Cubs bullpen as Carlos Marmol gets loose. Comebacker to Majeski. Now Fukudome hitting for Marshall. Andrew Cashner 16 pitches 2 innings. Sean Marshall 7 pitches in 1 inning. That's pretty efficient. 23 pitches over 3 innings for the Cubs bullpen. And this will be an important outing tonight for the closer Carlos Marmol. They're really scuffling in that 4-1 loss on Saturday against the Phillies. One and one on Kosuke, rather 1-2. Well, we have 1-1. They have 1-2 on the big board. So we'll go with our count.
I think we ought to make it 2-0.
Yeah, why not? There we go. Three and one. Cardinals won tonight 7-1 over the Phillies. Ball 4. So the first place Cardinals have rattled off 7 in a row. 33-15 at Busch Stadium. This Carpenter went 8 innings to get his 11th win. I'm doubting that's an official St. Louis Cardinal advanced scout, but I guess you never know.
They've really relaxed their dress code for their advanced scouts.
Long rain delay in Cincinnati. They still have not resumed. As the Reds lead 5-1. Again, that's in the bottom of the 5th. So if that game does not continue, Mike Leake will get the win. Final in Pittsburgh. The Pirates did hang on and beat the Brewers 11-9. So a chance for the Cubs to jump back into a tie for 3rd with the Brewers. And the Feldco upcoming schedule looks like this. Finish up this series tomorrow. Cardinals in for the weekend, then off to Houston and Colorado. Colvin swats it the other way. Starlin Castro with 2 more hits tonight. He has 11 hits already on the homestand.
And narrowly missed a home run his last plate appearance back in the 7th inning. Leading off, he doubled at the bottom of the basket in deep left center field. Taylor came around to score on Derek Lee's double to the gap in left center.
And that was the go-ahead run. Tap to third. It's fielded fair and safe. An infield hit for Castro. They are loaded up with only one out.
Pedro Feliz probably would have been better served to let that ball roll. With Starlin Castro's speed, I mean, a ball kicked back toward fair territory. But with Castro's speed, really very little chance to get him there as he beats that ball to first base easily. With a speedy runner at the plate, a ball tapped down that third baseline like that, you might as well let it roll and hope it goes foul because you're not going to get him at first.
Home run swing by Derek Lee. Go ahead RBI double in the last inning. A walk in back-to-back singles. Base hit in the left. Fukudome in. Colvin right behind him. Throw to the plate. Not in time. That's a two-run single for D. Lee.
Aggressive send of Tyler Colvin by Mike Quaddy at third base. That ball was hit hard into left field. Carlos Lee got a pretty good jump on it, and a great slide at home plate by Tyler Colvin to get around the tag of Jason Castro.
11-7. Cubs have scored the last 10 runs in this game. And not to be lost in the shuffle is what the Cubs bullpen has done tonight. One thing to score runs and come back. It's another thing to keep the other team from adding on. And that's exactly what Cashner and Marshall have done over 3 scoreless, hitless innings.
Your offense may give you some momentum with what they do at the plate and getting guys on home plate scoring runs, but your pitchers can make sure that that momentum does not shift back to the other dugout by the way they pitch tonight.
Gary Pressey playing If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands. Very appropriate song here in the 8th. The outside edge. 2-1 on Aramis Ramirez. Can't forget his contributions tonight. A big comeback really sparked by his 2 home runs. Put the Cubs on the board in the 4th with a solo shot, and then a 3-run blast in the 5th got them within 1. Done it again. Number 3 tonight. That's a 3-run homer. You need 2 hands to count up the RBIs. 7 of them tonight. First 3-homer game in 6 seasons for Aramis Ramirez. 14-7.
Boy, is he locked in. And we've talked about it, Len, over the last week or so, that he's not missing mistakes. That appeared to be a cement mixer slider. Never really took the break. Stayed on that inner third of the plate for Aramis, and he did not miss it.
fans here want the curtain call. There it is. Marlon Byrd has not hit with a runner on base tonight that I can see. Oh, yeah, he has. Yeah, the 7th. That's the only time, though. The Cubs have had a lot of runners. They're just all scoring on home runs by Ramirez. I don't think Marlon minds at all. Bouncer to the shortstop, Sanchez. 2 away.
Visit the official online shop of the Chicago Cubs at Cubs.com. Browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, the Cubs.com shop, except no substitutes.
The 4th career 3-homer game for Aramis Ramirez. And he now has 36 against the Astros. That's the most against any opponent. .203 as a Cub. At least the second time he's hit 3 against the Astros. He did it back in 01 on April 8th in Houston. Changing to his left, Sanchez, he dropped it, and Soriano keeps the inning alive. That's an error on the shortstop.
Just a top ground ball toward the middle of the field. Sanchez just did not get his glove down close enough to the ground, hit off the webbing. He laid an egg out there at shortstop.
Lou very easily could sit down Marmol and use somebody else, but he's already ready, and I think coming off Saturday's outing. Nice to have a 7-run pad here, even though it's not a save spot. Get him some work.
You got to get Carlos Marmol back into a rhythm again as well. I think the All-Star break hurts closers more than any other player on a baseball team. The hitters can get in a cage, face some live pitching. Defensively, you can go out and take your ground balls. You can get your running in. But for those closers that are used to coming into close ball games late, you can't simulate that over the course of the All-Star break. You just got to come right back and jump into the fire, and hopefully you find the magic that you had before the break.
And on the hands, fouled off by Soto, who tied it with a leadoff homer in the 6th. "13 unanswered runs for the Cubs since they were trailing 7-1. Called strike 3 to end the inning. But they get 5 more and a curtain call for Aramis Ramirez. 3 homers, 7 RBIs tonight. 14-7 as we head to the 9th. By Dex coming up tonight after Sylvania Cubs post-game live reaction to the Lou retirement announcement, a full Major League roundup, and much more. Join Mark and Pat for Sports Night presented by Dex tonight after post-game live, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Closer Carlos Marmol will work with a 7-run lead. Sometimes you worry about a closer in a non-save spot with a big lead. Not that he'll give up the game, but he might not be on top of his game. But I have a feeling Carlos will be pretty good tonight. Five walks in that fateful ninth. One was intentional. By and large, that has not been a huge issue for him this season. He's always going to have a fairly high walk total, but he gives up so few hits and strikes out so many guys that he usually can make up for it. Pretty interesting. You have the most patient hitter on this team and one of, as you say, the most patient guys in baseball, down 7 in the ninth. He swings and misses twice. Major League leading 82 strikeouts. When you compare him to all the other relievers. Huge night for Ramirez. 1-2 to Berkman. Twelve total bases for Aramis. Swing and a miss, strike 3 on a fastball.
.95-mile-an-hour heater blows it right by a real good fastball hitter, down and in, right where he likes the ball. Marmol just overpowered a real good hitter right there.
Just missed 1-1. High fly to right. Colvin's going to have room at the edge of the warning track. 2 gone. Bounced it in front of home plate. This would be the Cubs' 15th come from behind win of the year, and unless you can think of another one, I think this is the best comeback of the season. Down 6 runs, they now lead by 7.
Pretty tough to top this one, Len. Especially the contributions you got from some guys that were having some trouble contributing in the first half of the season.
Two and two. He has been really good tonight.
And he's been commanding it really well, not only throwing it for strikes, but throwing, as you like to say, quality strikes at the bottom of the strike zone, the edge of the strike zone.
To the second baseman, Terrio. Cubs win. What a nice comeback win. As they trailed 6-0, 7-1, and they win it going away 14-7. Ramirez with 3 homers. And the rubber game tomorrow. Time now for our GMC player of the game with an honorable mention to Andrew Kashner, who got his first major league win tonight. Aramis Ramirez ruled the night.
Boy, did he ever. 3 long home runs to left field. Drove in 7. Big night for the Cubs third baseman.
3 homers, 7 RBIs for the veteran Aramis Ramirez, who's standing by with Luke Stuckmeyer.
Thank you, Len. Aramis down 6 runs in this game. You win by 7. There is no quit in this team.
No, I mean, we come out swinging. I mean, Dan still don't have his best off today. But he's been there for us all year, so we pick him up today.
You have 9 home runs in the last 12 games. What's it like going to the plate right now?
I feel good. I feel like when I get a good pitch to hit, I hit it, and I hit it hard. That's a good sign.
Do you believe in hitting being contagious? Because it looks like it in this lineup.
I think so. And, everybody's doing their part. And if we keep doing that, you never know. We feel good about ourselves. We never give up, and you see that tonight.
Lou announced before the game he's going to retire at the end of the season. Are you starting your win one for the skipper campaign?
Hopefully. Lou has been great. One of the better manager that ever managed again. So hopefully we'll end up in a good enough for him.
All right, go enjoy the win. Congratulations.
All right.
Big offensive night for the Cubs. They've been averaging 6 runs a game for the last 9. And Aramis Ramirez, a big reason, Len.
Luke, thanks very much. Aramis has become a pretty frequent guest of ours in the postgame. That's a good sign.
Oh, yeah, we like that. We love talking to Aramis because that means he's swinging that bat well. And when he swings the bat well, the Cubs tend to score bunches of runs.
So that'll do it for our game coverage. Stay tuned for Sylvania post-game live. The final score tonight, big comeback. Cubs 14, the Astros 7. Our next Cubs telecast here on Comcast Sportsnet will be Saturday afternoon, 12 noon, pregame live at 11:30. Game 2 against the St. Louis Cardinals. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. And now for Bob, for Luke, and our entire Comcast Sportsnet crew, this is Len Casper. Now to Mark and Pat in our downtown CSN studios.